Hello, everyone. We are here today for Working Towards Black. And Working Towards Black is an effort that I have taken on to begin having deeper conversations between Africans, the Caribbean, African Americans, and all of the African diaspora so that we can begin the process of healing. I've been traveling for a very, very long time and traveling to a lot of Black nations and understanding um, and, and having experiences with people from all walks of life in the United States. I understand now that we have a lot with us and we have a lot of things to heal from. And we're at a point in our human history where 400 years of subjugation can come to an end. And that really will depend on our ability to do what I believe is work towards Blackness, which is a political identity. It doesn't negate your culture. It doesn't negate your languages. It doesn't negate your religions. It just says that Black people all over the world will start to understand themselves collectively so that we can begin the process of getting outside of oppression. And that's going to take all of us. And so working towards Black is really just a love effort to be able to just really make sure that we're communicating and talking to each other. And we all hear it. I'm letting Sasha come in, who is our guest for today. Her internet is going in and out. She's coming to us from Tanzania. She is a beautiful young Kenyan woman. But until she gets the internet steady. I see her over here saying that her internet is not steady. I'll tell you a little bit about why I think that this conversation is important. And I think that we've all heard it, right? Like if you're, we've heard all of the things, African booty scratchers and Africans that have these experiences when they come to the United States and deal with African Americans that may not have very much experience with Africa or have only understood Africa through negative perceptions in the media. Same thing from the other side, Africans coming into America saying that African Americans are lazy or that, they're succeeding. How come you can't? I see it on the continent. I see African Americans that go to the continent and they don't understand culture. They don't take the time to know. They go in with a sense of Western entitlement and deal with the local population in a way that's disrespectful. I see it on the other end where Africans are not really as interested in African American tourism as they are in European tourism. And same thing for the Caribbean. All of these things I've experienced by living in the Caribbean, living in Africa, and living in America amongst immigrants. And I think that we have to just talk to each other. A lot of these things are rooted. They're rooted in false notions of each other. They're rooted in bad history, false history. They have been perpetuated by Europeans and Americans to continue the divide so that we do not have the strength that we need to be unified. So as we are waiting for Sasha, I think she says she's here, but she's not. Hey, Sasha. So I will introduce her as we're waiting for her to click back in. She was in and then she was out. Um, she is basically a power force. This girl's all over the place. She was in Kenya, had some very interesting experiences with being. I'm back. Sorry, it was the network. Okay, great. I think she's back. Has some different experiences, which I will let her tell her own story in Kenya. Left, went to Tanzania, and is now in Tanzania creating opportunities for young African women. And I mean, this girl's a power force. There's so many things that I could say about her, but I will let her introduce herself because she is now here. Thank you. Thank you. This is our very first Working Towards Black.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good, dear. And you, how is everything back at home?
Everything is everything, girl. I wish I was still in Africa, but here I am.
I know.
I'm
I
making the
know.
best of it. I'm making the best of it. I'm making the best of it. So
Yeah.
please tell everyone, introduce yourself. We're going to get into a lot of subjects today, but I really want them to know who you are. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Yeah. My name is Sasha Serafin Bote. I'm from Kenya, but I'm based in Zanzibar. I work with empowering girls and women in the spa industry, where I train them how to do spa treatments, and then I help them to get a job or sometimes work with them. I also have few women that we help children with special needs with whatever we can. And I'm also empowering the boy child in farm tourism. I know someone can ask me what is farm tourism. In Tanzania, when we are having tourists, they don't only go for the safari or relaxing in the hotels. They usually go and visit our farms and they learn about our cash crops and all the other crops and the herbs that we have. And basically, most of the people who are doing this are young men, and I have them working with them through my company. Yeah, so I'm trying to build people with skills.
I love it. Now, when we first met, you gave me some background. You have left Kenya and moved to Tanzania. Can you tell me what transpired? I know, but I want everybody else to know. What transpired to create that shift? And I think it's going to be an interesting part of our conversation because I think it deals with the intersections that we have as African women and then as women, where those intersections connect and how those struggles are very similar all over the world for Black women. So
Yes, yeah, our struggles are the same everywhere. Whether you're in Europe, whether you're in America, whether you're in Kenya, Tanzania, our struggles as women are the same. I first came here to work as a spa manager, and I worked in a few five-star hotels. And then the first time I worked in two five-star hotels in Tanzania, and then I left and went to South Sudan. Then from South Sudan, I went back home. But there was something that I cannot explain about Zanzibar that I loved. And I kept on telling my parents that I'm going to go there. And they thought I was joking. And here I am. And I came back. I continued working as a spa manager in a few hotels here and there. But as I was working and I realized that I need to empower the women in the spa industry because I was seeing our struggles are still the same, single mothers here and there. And then I just started doing it as a passion, and I would get girls, train them, get them jobs. But then in the end, I was like, I didn't even realize when it became a movement. I just started seeing the numbers growing because I tell I tell them that each one teach one
mm-hmm.
from your village. Yeah. So and then I just found myself that I grew up in Nairobi all my life. I went to school there. I did everything there. The only time I would be out is when I go to see my grandparents in the villages. So when I went to the first time I went to work in Mombasa, I loved it. And Zanzibar is like Mombasa. It's not like a fast life like Nairobi. I think that is one of the things that have made me love here also. I
Mm-hmm.
no longer love the fast life here.
Yeah, I know. I like the city and I like living in the country. One of the
Yeah.
things that I want to get into really quickly, because I want these things to go as deep as they can, but we also have limited time. So you work with tourism and
Mm-hmm.
bringing I think primarily African Americans. I may be wrong. Maybe there's some
Yes.
British folks in there too. And
Yeah.
we've spoken before about very interesting experiences that you've had as that goes. And as we're talking about our relationships with each other, how we understand each other, I want to explore what you think are the best parts of this new, emerging market of Black tourism on the continent, and what you think
Yeah.
are the challenges of that and what you've seen and experienced.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to speak through my experience. Yeah, I travel. I started doing. I was spotted by one woman in America, and she wrote to me, and she started bringing goods to me. And then with that, the clients keep on referring you here and there. And I've been doing that now for some time. And they are beautiful. The beautiful things that this traveling together has done to me is that I have learned a lot. I have learned a lot. I cannot, if I was to start explaining, I'd have to write a book. Yeah. And I started in the beginning, I was only having Black Americans who are traveling to Africa, but now we have Caribbeans. The last group that I had Jamaicans, I had Black people from Canada and Black people from England. So it's becoming diverse in its own way, and most of these women who come, they want to come and do something for the children, something to build the community. So like that, when I prepare their trips, it's not like the normal tourism trips that we do where people come for safaris and for the beach and nice hotels. No, for them, they insist if the itinerary does not have cultural tours, then they're not going to travel with me. So, and this is very impactful because we visit villages, we go to grandmothers here and there, and when we are going with them to those grandmothers, they can see
I think
and
she's
find ways how
paused.
yeah, they can see and find ways how to help them. So it's something that is something that I really like for our integration. And then personally, like I'm saying, there were some things that I was ignorant about that they've really helped me to. Let me just put it this way: they've helped me to awaken in so many ways, because here in the continent we are divided by tribes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they educated me so much that this is not us. This is part of colonization. This is something that we don't know. We just find ourselves. I grew up with parents who are so loving. I don't hate you because of your religion or your political view, but this is something that is happening, and it's actually worse in our parents' generation, because most of them grew up like that. But at least for us, because we travel, because we have the education, it's changing, but it's still a very long struggle for us here in Africa. You've seen what happens in South Africa about the xenophobic attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I didn't know it deeply that it was part of colonization. So because I was not taught this in school, the history in our schools is not about us. It's something that was imposed on us.
I think
So
that
by
that's the
traveling with
point. It's everywhere that we're
yes,
that we're lacking in the understanding of ourselves.
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. We lack the understanding of ourselves. So by the integration, I'm learning such things. And they also learned from me, because the first group that I ever traveled with, when we started going to the gates of no return, we did the gate of no return in Mombasa, called the Fort Jesus. We did the gate of no return in Zanzibar, it's called Prison Island. So when we did the gates of no return, and because most Black Americans resonate a lot with West Africa,
Mm-hmm.
and when we did these two gates, they were so surprised. They are like, they were telling me they only know about the transatlantic slave trade. They didn't know about the East African slave trade. So
Mm-hmm.
for them traveling with me, we are learning from each other. So yeah, it's been a journey, and it's a beautiful, beautiful journey. And what I like about them is that when they come, because some of them now have repatriated, and they have helped a lot. Especially because you guys love Ghana, like I connect them with the people in Ghana. Yeah, I have a few in East Africa, and then most Black Americans, if you're not connecting with West Africa, then you connect with South Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But now, yeah, as we are educating each other, they told me that you guys didn't know about the East African slave trade. But we have a few now that have come to East Africa, and more are still coming. And I would ask more people to come. Or what I was saying is, what I like about them, when they come, they come with that mindset of bringing, not taking. You know, in Africa,
Mm.
it's just
It's a
people are
very
taking and taking.
different way that I think
Yeah.
Black people of the diaspora go about exploring Africa typically, right? Like
Yes.
we also come with a lot of Western understandings. We come with a lot of entitlement, but I think oftentimes most people are coming looking for this connection. And that can be complicated because the connection
Yes.
that sometimes they're looking for doesn't always materialize. What are some of the negative aspects that you've run into with these types of things?
Yeah, the negative aspect is like sometimes when I don't know whether it's everyone has their own way of doing things, you know, but there are some things that are not gonna work for you if you're traveling in Africa, especially in East Africa, in some parts that I've been, where people are so, first of all, people are very, very, like in Tanzania, people are very, very polite. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you like you with them, you always have to watch. Okay, it's good to watch your words when you're speaking to people, but for them, there are some things that Kenyans, you know, we grew up with the British colonial system. It's very, very harsh, you know. Even in school, we used to be beaten up, you know. So, and like someone, if you're sometimes you have a boss, they will shout at you. In Tanzania, it doesn't work like that. They're so polite and they expect you to be polite with them. So some of the negative things that I see is that you find like something small can trigger someone and they start complaining and they're like, you know, in America, and I don't hold my words back. I'm like, you are in Africa. Yeah. Right now you are in Africa. Next time when you're traveling, leave America at the airport if you want to have a good time, you know. And also I try to educate people that you don't expect that because things happen very fast in America, that they are going to be very fast wherever you go. Like when you go to a restaurant, like you will call a waiter and you'll be served. In some places in Africa, it will take time, you know. You can
Hours.
just see like, yeah,
Hours.
yes, hours. You know, you've been here, yeah. So yeah, hours. And I'm like, you need to understand. This is what you need to educate yourself about. This is what traveling is all about. Traveling is about diversifying your mind.
hmm And
And
having and
once, yeah,
allowing the experiences to be what they
yes,
are, not what you want them to be. So,
exactly.
what
And
did you grow up learning about African American people or Black people outside of the continent? Did you think about them besides, like, did TV influence you? Like, what was your perception of these Black people that lived outside the continent? Did you even see them as Africans?
not really, because in the TV they were most of the programs that we were watching were European when I was growing up, you know.
Mhm.
But with time, as when the Black community started acting in Hollywood, then I started to educate myself personally about them. And what I used, but we had when we were growing up, we had programs like Bill Cosby's show.
Mhm.
We watched Family Matters. We used to watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We used to watch The Jeffersons since I
I
was a
think
child. Yeah.
how did that shape you? Because I know we've spoken before about this idea that, America's really painted as the land of gold on the ground, right? Like,
Yes.
and as Africans start to travel, those perceptions really become very complicated. And we talked about watching people not go home for years because they're struggling in the West, but they're working to buy all of these gifts so that when they come back, they can pretend, they can show that they're doing these wonderful things in the West. What are some of the experiences that you've had with that?
Yes. First of all, I want to say that all those programs that I was watching, Sister, you know, I like they personally they shaped me in some way, and I, the funniest thing as a child, there's a way that I no longer watch TV. I no longer watch TV, and people laugh when I say that I sold my cable and I use that money to travel and see that everything that I was lied to about, you know. Yeah, yeah. So, but when when I was growing up and when I was watching this program, I just grew up to be a wannabe, you know, and I just wanted to go to America. And most of the in Kenya, like at least every family has someone in America.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at least even if it's not in every family, in every village there is someone who went to America and someone who pulled someone to America, and that person had to pull another person to America, you know. And because of seeing this Hollywood lifestyle, you know, I grew up with the concept that Africa is like a small hell. Yes, and America is paradise. America in my mind was just paradise. Like, and there is nothing I wanted to do apart from going to America. So even when I finished school, when I was in college and my aunt went to America, my aunt was trying to get me to America, you know, but things didn't work out. And God, I thank you, they never worked out. I'm sorry to say so. But that time I was so frustrated and I was disappointed. And then the thing is, like what you said, yeah, when our relatives come back, when they come back to Africa, they never helped us to break that mental slavery. So when they come, they, like you're saying, they come with small gifts here and there, and then like you will go with them to a restaurant, they'll be like, oh shit, you know, if it was in America, you're driving, the traffic, if it was in America. So, you know, and you grow up, and you grow, you grow up thinking that Africa is such a small hell, you know, and you grow up with self-hate, you know, like our people who are in European nations, they just help build the hatred towards ourselves, you know. And it wasn't until I started traveling and I started meeting different people, and like even when I was working in hotels, because before I started working as a manager, I was working in Kenya in a few hotels as a spa therapist. And I happened to work in one of the best hotels, like Sarova Hotels. They are one of the best hotels in Kenya. And it is a hotel that I am forever grateful, because they build you a lot with skills. They're always bringing different teachers for you to learn something new. So, and there I could, because it's a 5-star and they deal with a certain class of people, you know. And when I was working there, like when you get there, like people who were, because a lot of, we are all brainwashed. If you're not being brainwashed by religion, you are brainwashed politically, you are brainwashed financially.
Yes.
So, yeah. So by the time I got to Mombasa, like even people, they just start telling you, oh my God, oh, you're so beautiful, you're going to get a white man, you know, all those kind of brainwash, like everything we've been brainwashed to think about badly about ourselves, you know. And then there was a way, like if a client visited the spa, there was our receptionist, because she stayed there for so long, she would tell us, oh, these clients, they're so rich. And she's looking at the kind of treatments the guests have booked, you know. And then she will talk to the guests, and they're like, we've been to the safari, we've done the balloon ride, we've done this. And then she'll be like, you have to take care of those clients. Those are very, very rich clients. And I happened to to do a pedicure of a guy from Togo who was living he was living in the UK, and he had come with his wife and 3 children, you know. And then that mental slavery of thinking that someone will come and rescue you. We have a lot of yes. You've been to Morocco, you've seen. We have that kind of mentality in Africa, that you think someone will rescue you. So when I got there, and I'm from Nairobi, in Nairobi we grow up different. In Nairobi, like, you're just told that it is your education that is going to change your life. And then you go to the coastal place. Some people don't have formal education, but they can speak foreign languages, so they actually end up getting jobs. So you
Hmm.
see, there is, if someone dropped out of school in standard 8, there's a difference between him and someone who reached to form 4. There's a difference between someone who went to university. You understand what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
because of this, their mindset, some of them, like there are people on our beaches who believe that people will come and rescue them, and now they have tricks of how to get money from such people.
Well,
And
it
so I happen to,
creates a very terrible dynamic, especially when you're
yes,
coming for connection, because you can
yes,
never really have honest relationships with people because you're never meeting at the same place. And I
no,
found for myself, Africa is very hierarchical. We know this, like this
mhm,
is a fact, right? That in
mhm,
order for me to have authentic relationships, I could only interact with people that had a lot of money. And that's because
yes,
it took away that dynamic of feeling like I'm always being hustled when I'm just trying to
yes,
build friendships and relationships. And that's a complicated thing for people to reconcile when they go to the continent because they're actually looking for love, right? They're looking, and I think that's problematic too. I think the pressure that we put on our experiences with the continent, no matter what country you're going to, and I've traveled a lot through the continent. Every experience is going to be very different, but there's some similarities everywhere I go. And class becomes one of those things that Africa's not quite ready to reconcile. Class is an
yes,
issue that, and I always tell people that we like to think of this as post colonial, but the class
yes.
systems in Africa are not post colonial, they're pre
No, they're not.
colonial. Yeah.
They are
And
pretty,
they're
yes,
because they're pre colonial, they're harder to deconstruct and people
yes,
hold them even when it's not to their benefit. And I
yes,
think that what I find is as African Americans, because we're only 13% of a population, we live on the periphery of this country, as we're deconstructing class, it's very hard to take that same conversation to the continent
mhm,
because
yes,
people, it's so ingrained within culture in a different way.
exactly. Yeah, and it trips everything. So I they were trying now to program me
Hmm.
into begging while my parents did what they could. My mom and dad did what they could to give me the education that I have. My mom is always saying that she gave me a little education and I have to take myself to the next level. But I'm like, Mom, you gave me a lot. Now that I travel, I know that you have sacrificed and you've given me a lot, and I thank God for you. So, and some of us who are from Nairobi, we didn't like that, and we are like, because they even program you to, like, when they know that this person is rich, like, oh, you lie to him that you have children so that when he goes back there he can be sending you money. And I say, I don't want that. I love to work hard for my money, but I don't blame them because it's their way of survival. It's the only way they know, and that's why I make it a point to empower as many people as I can, because this kind of mental slavery is what is holding us back. So when I did the pedicure for the guy from Togo, and he was like, so do you travel? I had only traveled in a few places in East Africa, and my in Kenya I think I've traveled in most places of Kenya. I think if it's counties, maybe I've only not done less than 5 counties in Kenya, but I've been like all over in Kenya. So I love to travel since I was because my dad used to take us to different places since we were kids. So I took that from him. So this guy is we are talking as I'm doing his pedicure, and then he's like, no, you need to travel. Traveling broadens your mind and everything. And then he told me, you see, like now we did the balloon, we did the safari. Now we are here in Mombasa. We've done so many things with my family, and we have saved for 10 years.
10 years to be able to do this one thing.
Yes, yes. And then he told me, we saved for 10 years because when we were we wanted to come to Kenya and have the best memories of Kenya. So you can imagine, like, the balloon ride is $500 per person.
Hmm.
The safaris in Kenya are not cheap.
Yeah.
So when the way they were trying to those who are used to that kind of lifestyle, the way they were trying to program us is that such people are very, they are very, very rich. And then this guy has just told me something totally different. And then he was like, no, I'm not rich. I have been saving for 10 years with my family. My children also work after school. So they've also been chipping in.
Wow.
And we've had the best. Yes. And, and he told me, when you save, you can travel. And, that guy changed the rest of my life, because we were the same year. It's when we were having World Cup in South Africa. And I said, I am going to go. And
it made it accessible, because if here's a person that's a regular person, right? And that's what I try to make travel accessible to through my business. If you can do this, there are many ways in which to travel, and at all different levels. And people are moving through the world and they're not rich, but what happens is that you become culturally rich, and you use that cultural capital to really be able to open up doors for yourself. So I want to get to this idea, and we're coming to the end, but I want to understand, where do you think we are? What do you think the future is as you start seeing these relationships merge between Africa and the diaspora, and even the relationships on the continent in and of themselves? Where are we going as Black people? How do we work towards Blackness? How do we get to this place to where we understand Blackness as a political identity so that we can utilize it to our advantage?
Yes, what we need is we need unity as Black people. We are the only people in the whole world who are so divided. When you look at when I grew up in Kenya, and we have a lot of Asians in Kenya. If an Asian knows that I am an Asian and I have a grocery shop, they will never buy anywhere else. They know that Sasha has a tour company. They will always travel with my company. They know that I have a spa. They will always come to my spa. And sometimes we complain about them because they like to segregate us in our own land, And when the Black Lives Matter movement started, there were a few people who raised that issue in Kenya. Like, they have apartments where they cannot allow someone who is Black to rent there, And I said, for us as Black people, we need to stop pointing a finger. When you point a finger at someone, look at the fingers that are pointing back at you. We need to do that as a Black people, because what I have realized is that we are so divided. We are a very prideful people. Like, this is what I tell people, like, when they start complaining about, the government, Black Lives Matter, what, all those our struggles, they are our struggles, all those struggles that we have. You people in America are struggling with Black Lives Matter. For us in Africa, we are struggling with, we are divided by tribes, And this is something that I tell people, because even some of our borders have had it so rough, And sometimes I just, like the last time I was in Southern Africa, there was an immigration officer who tried to give me a lot of problems. And I just asked him a question. Why is it easy for me that when I am in Europe, it is easy for me to travel with a Schengen visa more than it is for me to travel with an African passport in Africa? Where do I belong if you're calling me a foreigner in an African land just because I am from Kenya, And now I am here. I had some issues here. I had some issues at the immigration entry point in Botswana. And the minute I told him that, he just gave me my visa.
Yeah, I always tell African Americans, because they're always kind of upset at this idea of acceptance. And I'm like, what you have to understand is that on the continent, if you are from another you don't even have to be from another country. You could be a Ghanaian, and you could be Ashanti, and the other person is Twi. You could still have the conflict of acceptance. It's deeply rooted in this cultural tradition of what has happened on the continent. And a lot of this is just the history that we need to know so that we can better assess the condition, right? And so that we can
Yes,
get to move forward. Um,
yes,
I'm very
yes.
curious.
That's
Do
uh-huh,
you,
uh-huh.
oh, I didn't want to interrupt you, but I want to ask you a question. Um,
Mhm.
do Africans want African Americans or the African diaspora in Africa?
Yes, all the people that I have right now in Kenya, in Tanzania mainland, in Ghana, and there are some in Namibia. I have a friend of mine. He's called Lamont. Lamont and his wife April. They are working in Namibia, and they are empowering the community. Yes, we want them because they are bringing. Let me not. I sound like a very mean person saying they are bringing, but I don't want to people to misinterpret me. It's because that I am tired of my continent. People are just coming to take and take and take in the name of charity. So,
Hmm.
and I am so much about charity and funding in Africa because since I just turned 40 years and since I was born, I found that the people are coming here to do charity. But when I look at the ghettos and everything that they take pictures saying they are doing, no, poverty is a business for the elites. That's something that I keep on saying, you know. So I am not for charity. And what I like about you people, when you come, you're coming to do something on the ground. When the women tell me we want to help children, they are not gonna send me the money or anything. They're gonna come with me and I'll take them to the children who need help. And if it's a school, they will build a school. If it is, they just check at what the community needs, you know. And
Hmm.
what I like with the people that I am working with, I just met someone. I actually met a lady. How we connected with you, you remember on your post, I connected with a lady called Kia Wakesho. And Kia is also doing some projects in Kenya. She's connected with some of the government officials because sometimes there are things that when you're doing, you have to connect with the government, you know. And what I like with you people, you're bringing the education. You are truly empowering the people, and we are truly seeing the things that you guys are doing right now. You know, Bob Marley's offspring, they're building schools in Ghana.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yes, we want you guys to come back because we can truly see what you're doing. It's been a song for too long.
Hmm.
People are funding this. People are funding this ghetto, but that ghetto has been like that since I was born. But now I can tell you, the people that are doing projects with me, it doesn't matter whether it is in Ghana, in South Africa, in Kenya. There is something that is being done. I have a few people also, a few women that I'm working with from they are Kenyans living in Europe. They are doing their own things, you know. And the way we are connecting at this time, it's like a healing process
It
that is
is. It's
yes,
beautiful.
yeah,
It can be. It can be
yeah,
complicated too. But I think
yes,
that the
yes,
more we have conversations like this, the more that
mhm,
people are able to understand each other's different perspectives, the
yes,
better it will be. You know, like this is not easy. We have a whole lot of years of disconnection and it's been
yes,
purposeful. And so I'm
yes,
so appreciative of you taking time to talk to me. And I'm so excited about the projects we're going to do together. This
I'm so
is
excited.
yeah, this is the work. And you
Yes,
know, I see you doing the work on your own. I see you doing the work through all of your social media outlets. And I thank you and I support you and I appreciate you. Um, if you were to leave people with an idea of what it means blackness, right? Because it's a hard concept from the African perspective, because
yes,
blackness is really kind of rooted in this, particularly American construct, because you don't know where you come from necessarily, that you've united under this one umbrella. What can blackness mean on the continent? What can that mean in Africa?
we still because of the colonization and the self-hate that we were taught, we've been struggling with it. That's why you see that there are a few women who bleach themselves, and I don't blame them. You know, I don't blame them. because even when I was growing up, like I used to do these are things that now I understand, but when I was young I couldn't understand. I was doing a lot of public speaking and debates for the school, and sometimes I just started learning that sometimes you are being picked because you're a little bit, you see, my color is a little bit, so, and now it's when I'm starting to understand these things. And before we used to laugh at these people who bleach their skins. I no longer laugh at them because I know the root cause of all this. They've grown up being told that they are ugly. And even our men here in Africa, especially where I come from in Kenya, Luo men, like they even say it openly. I will marry yellow, while they are nilotic. They are very, very dark, and they actually disrespect their women so much, and they're forgetting, just like 50 Cent, they're forgetting that they came from the same black women that
I love that you know that what's happening with 50 Cent. This is why it's so amazing, this time period. We are so connected, and we start to see that these similarities, it's all over the place. These experiences are all very similar. And that it allows us to start to deconstruct how this affects all of us. And it's all rooted, in this experience from slavery, colonialism, and we have the possibility to break these cycles.
Yes, we have the possibility, and I thank God because of the internet and the few people that are self-educating themselves. Like I said, the history in our schools is not about us. It was just imposed on us. But now Africans have also risen up and they're teaching themselves about their blackness and our struggles, like in Kenya also now I work with a few activists who really, really fight for the rights in our countries to do what is right for us. And now there's some people who are trying to fight for our history to be taught in school.
Yes.
Because our history was not taught in school, because even after colonization, we have some of our leaders who are taken to be groomed. They were taken to England to be groomed with neo-colonization, So when they came, we saw them as heroes, but now that we are learning our real history, they are really not our heroes. They've not been working for us for all this time. But we now have a few African presidents who are like, no, enough is enough. We don't need like Kagame.
It excites me. It makes me. Every time I see them, there's certain leaders that I'm enamored with, and just enamored. I think that's the right word. Yeah, they're making me very excited about what's to come. So, in your words, how do you define? I understand Blackness as a political identity. I don't think that takes away from my identity as a Black Southern woman that's lived all over the world. Like I understand that Blackness is around my politics. I'm a Pan-Africanist, and that's what I believe about the world. How do you define Blackness for yourself?
Oh, it's how do I don't know if it's diverse, it's beautiful, it's powerful. All we need is to bring more people to break all the cycles that were brought to break us. We are a powerhouse,
Exactly.
Anytime the devil has never attacked empty vessels. He has never. Look at all the successful people. They are the ones that people will come up with something to bring them down, Someone who is not doing anything admirable with their lives, no one is gonna attack them. I was attacked in 2017, and it is sad that people believe that Black women cannot find their way to success without having a man or a sugar daddy behind them, but those things people's words don't bother me, because I know myself, and I am so glad because people now are embracing our Blackness. People are embracing our power. People are fighting for themselves to leave a legacy, like Wangari Maathai, the late Wangari Maathai, Winnie Mandela, Mandela, you know, people are now starting to see our power. Give an African something, employ them wherever you will employ them. They are always best at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Send him to be a carpenter. He will make you something that is best to do. So my only question is, why are we not getting to the next level? And that's what we need to find out as a community and know how to build each other. Because I believe in the next 10, 20, 30 years, with what I'm seeing with the youth and what the youth are doing, if we have presidents like Kagame who are seeing passion in our youth and trying to, you know, to say no to the oppression, if we just get 5 like those in Africa, we are good. We are
unstoppable. It's unstoppable.
It is, yeah. Yes,
so please tell everyone how to find you, your websites. I have wanted to put your, I thought I put Sasha Spice, but tell them every way that they can find you.
Yes, I'm going to give you my number. Maybe you can put on the StreamYard. So I think you have my number. So you will add it here.
It's sashaspice.com, right?
Yeah, it's sashaspiceafrica.com. Yeah, it was actually because I started in Zanzibar, it was Sasha Spice Zanzibar. But when I started traveling and I saw that other African nations are interested in what I'm doing, then I decided to change the website and put it Africa. And I know I'm going to empower girls all over this continent, because when you empower, what happens with us is we are given handouts just to push us until the next election, you know. But when you empower people with skills, they are going to make good decisions even at the ballot box. But if I am hungry and someone brings me a sack of food, I will take the sack of food and sell my vote, you know.
Yep. It happens here too. It's all at different levels of the same thing. And so SashaSpiceAfrica.com. What is your Instagram?
My Instagram is SS Mbote.
Okay.
And then my Twitter is Sasha Spice Africa. And then my we are on Facebook.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for tuning in to Working Towards Black. This is a ongoing conversation every Tuesday and Thursday. I may have to change the time. I initially had it at 6, and then I was like, it's gonna be 2:00 in the morning in Kenya. We need to change the time. So I have a lot of people coming up. They're all over the continent, all over the US and the UK. So this is going to be a really expansive conversation with people, Black people from everywhere. And we are going to start the process of healing. We're going to start the process of really talking to each other to get the education to learn each other's cultures. And I'm so happy that you were my very first guest. And thank you. And everyone, thanks for tuning in. Please follow at T Barnes Global Lifestyle on Instagram. You'll be able to find this on Facebook and on YouTube at T Barnes Global Travel. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Sasha.
You're welcome, Gia. Thank you. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.